Yes, guys. On 28th June 2020, David Ndii, who was a columnist at Daily Nation, wrote in his regular articles that Kenya is a cruel marriage. It is time we talk divorce. In this article, David Ndii stated that Kenya's project is dead due to the failure to develop a national narrative to future comradeship beyond tribe. On this Madaraka Day, I would like to look at the project called Kenya and understand the milestones and the challenges that we have faced as a country. Join me and let's walk through this journey. On Friday last week, Kalonzo Musyoka held a meeting at his Yatta farm. And one of the highlights of this meeting was on the speech which was made by most guests who were allowed to speak. One of the notable issues that was canvassed is the question about self-determination and the need for Kenyans to secede. This was fueled by the constant calls by Rigathi Gachagua and the descriptions of Kenya Kwanza regime as a shareholders government. Some Kenyans have seen themselves as outsiders in a government that is meant to serve them equally and without any prejudice. I will look at three historical events that have led to Kenya being a failed relationship. On 6th May 2023, King Charles III was coronated. And one of the news that was coming out of his first days in office is that he's going to make his maiden foreign trip to Kenya. And this is disguised as a visit to commemorate her mother, who got into her throne after the death of her father that happened when she was still in Kenya. However, this is a ploy to hoodwink Kenyans into believing that Kenyans have received the real independence. I can tell you for sure that Kenya is still under control of the British government. I have come across two striking videos on YouTube that showed me that Kenya has not yet attained its independence. First, take a listen to what former Runyenje's MP, Jeru Kathangu, said on Citizen TV yesterday morning.
What do you think, though, from where you sit? Do you think we are celebrating something that is not there?
First of all, I'm happy because I got Daktari talking about the historical perspective of this nation. And as a historian, he will confirm this, that Jomo Kenyatta is the mess in this country. Jomo Kenyatta is the foundation upon which the British continues to rule this nation. And they prepared him specially so that he could come and become president of the republic in their behalf.
While many may call Jomo Kenyatta the founding father of this country, I must tell you that he is the source of many challenges that Kenya has gone through. First of all, at independence, it is rumored that Jomo Kenyatta was given documents to sign that showed that he would not interfere with the interests of the white man in this country. And in fact, he will remain and continue being their apologist. This can be confirmed by this interview that was conducted in a vernacular station by the former PA to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, who was involved in every activity that Jaramogi undertook during this time of fight for Kenya's independence. You will note that in this video, the PA says that Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was the first person to be called to State House. And they went him, Jaramogi, and Raila Odinga was still young by that time. And when they went to the State House, the white man gave Jaramogi documents to sign and told him that Jomo Kenyatta is a Mau Mau, and therefore he cannot be given power to lead this country. And now we are giving you the opportunity to take the mantle of this country. When Jaramogi was given documents to sign, he looked at them keenly and disagreed and told them, this is not independence, because you will still remain in this country and you will still control affairs of our people. Critical dockets in government were supposed to remain under control of the white man, regardless of whether those people holding these offices were to be Africans. First, the president himself was supposed to be an apologist of the white man. Second, the head of military was supposed to be an apologist of the white man. Third, the head of national intelligence was supposed to be an apologist of the white man. And then finally, the attorney general was supposed to be an apologist of the white man. Jaramogi looked at this and said, I will not sign. When Jaramogi refused, they went to Kenyatta and told Jomo Kenyatta that we want you to be a president of this country, but this is how you are going to lead this country. And this is what Jeru Kathangu was talking about, that Jomo Kenyatta was trained, Jomo Kenyatta was made to ensure that Kenya remains in the hold of the British. Another strategy that the white man has used to ensure that we are held hostage is to control our education system. Kenyan system has first of all abolished history. We do not know our true values. We do not know our national interests. We do not know what holds us together. And history has been distorted in such a way that we do not know our real war and independence heroes. The education systems that have been brought to Kenya, we know that from independence, we had the 7-4-2-3 system. Then in 1985, President Moi brought the 8-4-4 system. And now, President Kenyatta in 2017 brought us the 2-6-3-3 system. These systems have been designed to confuse Kenyans, future generation, to ensure that we are confused perpetually without any understanding of what we as a people have. And if you look at the education system right now, it is all in shambles. We are trained not to be independent. You will look at the 8-4-4 system. While Kenyans remain some of the brightest people around the world, you will realize that when they are in the country, with this brilliance and education, they cannot ensure that their country grows bigger. I note that the education system that has been used in this country has been championed by the white man to ensure that we remain ignorant of ourselves, we remain ignorant of our desires, and we remain ignorant of our main problems as a country. First world countries have developed by first looking at what they need, the journey ahead of them, and where they want to be in future, and how they want their future generation to look like. When we say that countries like Singapore and Malaysia were at par with us at independence, it only tells you that the tools that have been used to engineer our society have been in control of people who do not have Kenyans' interest at heart. The education system that is used in this country has led to the slow development that we have as at now. And therefore, if we are to say that surely we are to receive true independence, we must look at an education system that serves our main interest and serve our main challenges. Remember, Kenya right now is in a continuous crisis of food challenges. People are still dying of hunger. But we have large, vast lands that are not put into any activity. Kenyans have been trained only to deal with cash crops. You are told to plant coffee, plant tea, things that cannot feed you, things that are not basic food. These were plants that were brought by the white man to ensure that we look at money as the source of our existence, but not food security. From this point, you will note that Kenya, regardless of large farm lands, it has refused to gain food security, which is one of the pillars that the white man is continuously using to control us in the name of aid, to tell us that we give you this so that you can eat this and that, so that you can solve issues of hunger here and there. But they know that at independence, they set Kenya to fail in food security, healthcare, and even in education. The third pillar of engineering Kenya to failure is political freedom. Now, many say that Kenya is one of the politically active and free nations. But I want to tell you one thing. Kenya has never been free. If you listen to what Njeru Katangu says, is that every president that has led this country has had something to do with Jomo Kenyatta. And if you know Jomo Kenyatta, he was an apologist of the white man. And he was prepared to ensure that he takes care of interests of the white man. I want to ask you one thing. Jomo Kenyatta, Moi, Kibaki, Uhuru, Ruto. If you look at President Ruto, there were policies that were started by Jomo Kenyatta. We have the housing issue. We have the CBC that was very contentious at the time of campaigns. If you look at the trajectory of William Ruto, you will note that there is not a single policy that he has changed. William Ruto has adopted Moi's strategy, fuata nyayo. When Moi got to power, he did not do anything. The only place where Kenyans came close to ruling and owning their government was in 2002. And if you look at the things that happened during the tenure of President Kibaki, you will note that Kenya had started taking a different trajectory only until the big Kikuyu businessmen came and took over Kibaki's government. However, Moi Kibaki had an opportunity to ensure that Kenya grows to its prosperity. You will note that at the end of his tenure, President Uhuru Kenyatta tried to shift away from his political base and those who supported him, especially the West. When he did this, he was told, you are not the one in control of this country. And that is why you realize that President Ruto easily got into power without anyone doing anything. It was not that President Uhuru Kenyatta was not having anything to do, but this country is not controlled by presidents who are here. It is controlled by those who are calling shots in Britain. And that explains why when William Ruto got into power, instead of looking east, he went directly and he has looked west. Because in west, that is where he got his power. Up to now, Kenyans are not politically free. And even elections that we engage in continuously are mere fracas and issues meant to confuse us and hoodwink us, to make us feel like we are engaged in any political activity. All these are games. And until Kenya understands the challenges it's going through, and until we as a people decide to delink ourselves from this control and this stereotype and micromanagement that the British have been doing to our country, we will not get real Madaraka. And this is why I say, as Jaramogi said in his book, not yet Uhuru. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing and commenting and like this video, and let's grow together. Thank you very much.